This works out right. But yeah, so your bear market prediction, right? Do you remember when you were talking about that? About you uploaded a thing on I believe it was the CoinDesk show.
Okay.
You uploaded a clip where you just said you weren't entirely convinced that a bear market was coming just because of everything else that's been going on.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said that we're not in for a crypto winter. Like maybe we'll have a short bear market, maybe it'll go down a little bit, but I just didn't see people not finding crypto valuable in this socioeconomic climate right now.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how like market cycles work, but then some people try to talk like TA people, be like, well, the chart is here, so therefore the like, yeah, but that's not there's not magic. It's like
Yeah.
these are people buying and selling things, right? So, um, yeah. All right, let me just check the Odyssey thing. We're live on Odyssey, which is nice. See if anyone. Ooh, I got a couple of comments. Nudge, remember Nudge? The Nudge says he's looking forward to the chat today.
The
Yep.
nudge. Hi, nudge.
Yeah, we got a bunch of
Are
fun
you
things to
doing
talk
it
about.
live on Odyssey? Maybe I'll tune in so
Yes.
that I can see your comments.
Yeah, it's.
Digital cash network.
I'm on um both Odyssey and YouTube right now, as well as I'm pretty sure like Twitter and all the other. But that's just ancillary. Sorry if you're a Twitter person, but the
Sorry if you're
Bitcoin
a Twitter
the Bitcoin
person,
Cash
but he doesn't
podcast.
care about you.
Yes. Well,
Where's
yeah,
the live chat on Odyssey? Do they have a live
it's
chat?
there's a little button that says chat, a little like area. It's difficult to see, if I'm
It
honest.
is. Odyssey, what are you doing with your I can't see it. I
Mm.
can't see it anywhere on the page. Hmm.
So, the Bitcoin Cash podcast commented, "Fire as fuck podcast coming up. I might not be able to catch all of this one live, but I'm gonna watch playback for sure. Yep, I gotta go, but gonna watch later. Well, thank you, kind sir.
Question.
Yes.
Where I still can't see the chat box.
So, are you in the? You're in the browser, correct?
Yeah, on Odyssey.
Yes. And
Oh, I'm
so,
in the wrong
literally,
one. That's because I'm in the wrong video.
oh no. Um.
Yeah, I am.
Oh
All right,
no.
I got
Um.
it. Amia says, yo, good to see Naomi hopping back on. Good to see you
Yes.
hopping back on, Amias.
Yeah. Yes. There we go. So, all is well. Order has been restored to the world.
Order has
Um,
been
we're
restored.
we're ready for quite the banger of a show. Might as well just roll this intro graphic for one of the last few times. I'm gonna roll it before I have a new, better one, but that'll be nice.
Let's do it.
But let's do it. Well, hi everyone, and happy Friday. I am joined by the one and only Naomi Brockwell for the Digital Cash Rundown. How's it going?
I'm going pretty well. How are you, Joelle?
I'm pretty good. Got a lot of podcasts to do today, but then again, that's just what happens. I'd like
What
to direct
happens?
everyone to the live chats. If you're in YouTube or Odyssey, you can leave live chats. Obviously, uh, if you want to leave a live super chat, you can do that either through Odyssey itself, or you can do it on cointr.ee/the desert links, and just leave a little comment with a little donation, and it'll get through, and we will read them off. You got to hit me up through the E. Do you remember I used to call the coin tree the E all the time?
The E, yeah.
Just the E.
I'm writing comments on Odyssey. They're not showing up.
I'm seeing them.
And then I got a message that says, well, I can't see it.
And so
You're
in
seeing
the
me on
live,
Odyssey?
yeah. So after Amias said that thing, first light said, "Hey Joel and Naomi." Then Naomi says, "Yo, hi," and then one time says, "Hi Joel and Naomi." So it's all there.
Yeah, it's not refreshing for me. Weird. I'm gonna reload it.
Have you tried turning it on and
Bugs,
off
bugs,
again?
bugs. Bugs, bugs, bugs. All right. It's come up.
Mm-hmm.
I see it now. Will this
Fantastic.
show up? This show up. Oh, didn't. I think that I have to be playing the video in order for the live chat to be updating live. Or maybe I have way too many like browser like pop-up blockings and it's just not
Probably.
allowing anything to update. All right, well, I guess I'm not going to be looking at the live chat
Well,
live on that one.
if that's why you got to pay to put it on CoinTree, and then it pops up in there, and
That's
we
it.
can't avoid it.
That's it.
Well, let's just talk about something that's near and dear to my heart: the town of Portsmouth. It's if anyone's watched any of my content, you might have seen the CNN episode or even Naomi's episode showing me running around Portsmouth, spending crypto, living on crypto, jolly good time. Definitely put New Hampshire on the map in a great way in the crypto world. But now, Portsmouth embraces crypto payments for city bills. The mayor reportedly said that City Hall had learned more about cryptocurrencies and blockchain and how to utilize them for improved city services. In an effort to embrace virtual money, the city of Portsmouth, New Hampshire will allow residents to pay their bills in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Now, first off, I hear through the grapevine, and I've not verified this, but I've heard through the grapevine that they will only do this through PayPal because PayPal now accepts cryptocurrencies or supports them. And just adding that little wrinkle to it. But what's your hot take?
Well, how can they do it through PayPal? Because I don't think you can yet spend money on PayPal, right? You can only buy it within the app and then sell it within the app. You can't actually transfer it to wallets. I don't believe they've rolled that out. Maybe I'm incorrect, but last I checked, they hadn't rolled that out yet.
Yeah, my reading of the original announcement for PayPal was that you could only buy it in the app and you could only spend it at PayPal accepting merchants from your side of the app, and it can only auto convert into fiat for the merchant side. That's what I seem to remember, although I didn't go over with fine-tooth comb. I'd kind of assume that's still the thing, but
yeah, they keep saying, yeah, this is coming and they're going to be enabling it, but they haven't enabled it yet. As far as I know, and maybe this has been updated since the last time I checked, but I think it was like May last year, they said, oh, we will be launching this feature, and then they haven't yet done it. So, it's I don't see how Portsmouth will be able to implement those payments through PayPal yet.
Yeah, I wonder how they're going to Odysee isn't live streamed, it seems. Interesting.
Oh, I'm looking at it. It's live streaming for me.
Okay, well that's good. The bugs we have to deal with sometimes, but
some of the bugs.
Yes, that's the thing. I've noticed this happen a lot lately. Like, we're still relatively early in the crypto adoption game. Like 90% of the places you go, you can't spend directly with crypto. Of course, if you are in the US, you can use a fun little app called Dash Direct and spend crypto literally everywhere, but it's not because the end merchant accepts it directly. They don't really know it. You're using a workaround. Still a great workaround, but a workaround nonetheless. But now you've seen a bunch of jurisdictions, government jurisdictions, starting to what I can only imagine is a virtue signal, or rather a progress signal of saying, no, we're hip and cool. Like, we take the Bitcoins for your taxes. And it's just almost like a sign to bring in innovation and investment and new business and stuff into the town. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think it's a smart move to do that? Do you think it's an important move, really?
Well, okay, first of all, fact check on me. So looking at PayPal's website, you're right. They are allowing you to spend it at approved merchants. So they have a list of places where you can spend it at checkout, and they'll convert it instantly into US dollars. So yeah, they've started to roll that out, but you still can't transfer it to an external wallet, etc. You've got to keep it all in the app. Yeah, I mean, so here I have this fight with people a lot about whether the aim of the game is to get all merchants to accept crypto, or whether these third parties actually do a good enough job. Because at the end of the day, I want people to be able to live off crypto. I want them to be able to extricate themselves from the traditional financial system. I want them to be able to opt out and not have to use their banks to make digital payments. And so I love the idea that someone can just accept crypto, they can spend their crypto, they can live on crypto, and they don't have to use bank accounts. they can do that currently at almost every store. And you can do that even without KYC, even without someone taking custody of your funds. A lot of people don't realize that. I mean, all of your viewers do realize that because they all
Hopefully.
use Dash Direct. So it's not just the 155,000 merchants that accept it and you can get discounts, but you can also create like a prepaid MasterCard. You fund that. And it's just in time, called just in time funding, where just at the checkout, you can add as much as you want to your MasterCard and pay at any store that accepts MasterCard, which is basically everyone in the world. So as it already stands, people can live entirely off crypto. And we don't actually need businesses to accept it. But I want to see a world where businesses are accepting it. And people have pushed back against me for this because they say, well, it's not feasible. Like I even have friends who were into crypto who've just opened a new business and they're not accepting it right now because it's difficult to integrate it into their existing financial, payment system. And so just from an ease of use standpoint, crypto is difficult. All the people that I know that accept it, they kind of go out of their way to do it because they're philosophically aligned. But just from a pure business standpoint, whether it's a smart move for a business to accept crypto, well, if you're a business that has a lot of customers coming in and out, it could really clog up your the flow of your customer service. And so I understand why people might not want to get involved. And actually, all these payment processors, places like Dash Direct actually make it super easy because they just integrate with existing payment infrastructure. So, it doesn't hold anyone up for you to pay with Dash and use your Dash MasterCard, for example. So it's a tough question. I don't know whether I'm just really biased because I still are on the side of I want to see as many businesses as possible use this and accept it. That's really I can't let go of it. And people provide really valid arguments. They're very logical. That it doesn't make sense for a lot of businesses. And yet I don't see us fully moving away from this traditional financial infrastructure and opting out of this banking system until we just see widespread adoption, not just relying on a few third parties who are facilitating these transactions for us. I don't want it to be a fringe movement where, the few of us who do it are using these third parties and we can live off crypto and it's great. I want it to be so pervasive that when I go into a store, it's just a given that I could pay in crypto peer-to-peer without using any of these third parties. That's just because I want to see a world that is more decentralized in that way. I want to see a world that, with there really is a paradigm shift in the way we make purchases and the way we live. I think that's when we will know that the world is truly changing. We're at the cusp of it right now, and I'm excited about it. But I think we'll really see major changes happen when we start to see that pervasive use, when we start to see the signs at every store. It's cool what's happening in St. Martin's right now. Roger Ver's been, pushing for all of these stores like St. Kitts as well, all these stores to accept cryptocurrency, and there are hundreds of them now. That's kind of cool. That excites me. It excites me to want to visit Townsville, where they've got a similar thing and you can visit all these places and pay with crypto. Portsmouth, another fantastic place that I love exploring because I know that there are lots of stores I can go into and I say, hey, do you accept crypto? And they say, yeah. And that's just really exciting to me. And I think that's the next stage of this financial revolution.
Well, that's exactly it. We're talking about stages. And so the very beginning stage, which is, let's just say, the early days of crypto / the days of gold and silver, the fiat dominated world, I should say, is instead of just living on fiat, you can store your value in something that can't be inflated. But then you sell some, so you have some fiat to pay bills, and then you pay it there. That's step one, which is, it could be better, but it's better than nothing. Next stage is you have some sort of a, let's just say, custodial crypto-backed debit card type thing, like a crypto.com card or something like that, where now you can keep your money denominated in crypto value all the time, but you still relinquish control over it for a period of time. Then you swipe it, it gets converted instantly, and they get dollars or whatever else, and there you go. The next step, which we're at now, is that, but without the KYC, which is the Dash Direct era, where you can have all your money in crypto and you don't have to actually convert it until you spend it, but you also don't ever have to like relinquish control to a third party other than just that exact amount for that exact purchase at that exact time. And then the merchant is still all that way. The next era, which I would really love to see, which is what I would call the BitPay era, more or less, which is where every major business, or most of them, accept cryptocurrency through some sort of a payment processor that auto converts to fiat in their bank account. At that point, the customer doesn't need any third party to rely on to make that money into something that they can spend. They just hand it off to the merchant, but then the merchant auto converts. Then the next step, the final step, is when you're paying the merchant and the merchant keeps it in crypto, which is the case with all like the Portsmouth area merchants, or 90% of the ones in New Hampshire, I believe, hold it. But that's exactly the thing, is I think that once we're at this stage now, the Dash Direct phase, I should say, where everyone can kind of spend crypto without giving up their ID or relinquishing control over their money. Now, if everyone gets in the habit of that, now it'll be a lot easier for a business to say, hey, you know what? I'm just going to take it directly. You want to pay me directly? And then you start doing that. The thing is, we have to start seeing, and I don't want this, but it will happen. We have to start seeing censorship, financial censorship of businesses, saying like, what happens if gun stores start to get their payment processor shut down? Like, what are they going to do? You can't use Dash Direct there if their MasterCard reading whatever is gone. And so once you have that, or you have businesses, because people make money, they make fiat largely. Not me, but they make fiat, and then they convert it to crypto somehow, and then there you go. Businesses, in all these things we're talking about, almost all these scenarios, they're earning fiat, and they're using fiat to pay their employees, et cetera, et cetera. Those people are people too, right? Business owners are not just businesses, are comprised of people too, and when they want to be paid in crypto, rather than take crypto, convert it to dollars, and then convert it back to crypto at the other end, they're going to start cutting out the middleman and wanting to actually be paid in it. And then that'll be an actual hiring perk. We can pay you with crypto. And how do you achieve that? We got to have crypto. And then, there you go. So I think it's just the next incremental step. I do believe that, like, while it is not necessarily like necessary for businesses to accept crypto directly today, eventually that's what we want to go at. And I believe anyone who doesn't think that is a little bit of a fool.
Well, I mean, it's not like it. You have to think to what ends. You have to say, what are you trying to achieve? So people who don't think that just don't think that you're really achieving anything by having the businesses accept it directly, because currently most businesses do perfectly fine accepting traditional financial payments, and so it's really for those individuals that opt into the system that say, well, actually I'm already covered, I can live entirely by my own choices. So I totally get that. I just want it to go further. I think that businesses do have to make strategic decisions. Generally, profit margins on most businesses are really slim. If you're having to retrain staff all the time, if you're holding people up at checkout, like that does create churn in your customer base. So I totally get why some people are avoiding this space right now. I just hope that we get to a place where the world has embraced Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies so fully that it's just ubiquitous. It's everywhere. We see it at all these stores. For me, it's not a practical thing where I'm like, we need to have businesses accept crypto. It's more a signaling device that will show me that, we've overtaken the existing financial systems. So I don't think it's necessary, but I do think it would be a great state of the world to see that. I mean, you're already starting to see it. The West doesn't really need this stuff right now. But what's going on in Ukraine? I mean, the weeks leading up to the Russian invasion, people knew what was going on, and you had Ukrainians rushing to get money out of bank accounts, and banks were already starting to halt transferals, stop people getting money out of ATMs. It was like weeks prior. This was already going on. And people at that stage, I mean, they're a very crypto-centric economy. The people there have embraced crypto for a number of years, a lot more than I think in the US people have. So a lot of people were very crypto savvy and were able to get their money into cryptocurrencies. And we saw like a big spike the weeks prior to the invasion in crypto trading volume and price. And it's great. Like as you said, it's kind of it's a situation that you don't ever want to see. Like my heart goes out to all of the people who were locked out of their finances. It's a terrible, devastating state of affairs, but it makes me so happy that they have alternatives. If this had happened and crypto hadn't existed, they would have been so much worse off. So crypto is not, the ultimate solution here, and yet it is providing a better alternative for all of these people, which is really exciting. I don't want the world to be in a situation where they're all realizing they have this alternative, because I don't want the world to collapse. I don't want people to get hurt. I don't want them to lose their life savings. But I'm so glad that if that were to happen, which is definitely on the cards, I mean, you have geopolitical leaders all over the world who are just becoming more and more tyrannical and making bad decisions, and people end up suffering as a result. But if that does happen, it makes me happy to know that now we have options.
Yeah, that's for sure. The thing about when you spend, just a little nitpick on that thing for the people that don't think you need to try to, it's not, doesn't serve you to try to get merchants to take it directly. I mean, that's kind of a short term. That's kind of a short term thinking, kind of a little bit closed minded, because if you, every time I spend crypto at some place that does not accept it directly through some sort of a third party, I'm essentially selling the crypto. Not really. I'm giving it to whatever that sells it, and that puts downward price pressure if people are getting rid of it. If people are keeping the crypto, you don't have that downward price pressure to the same extent.
I would disagree with that a little bit, because every time you sell, someone else is buying. So you get the downward pressure when the market sentiment has a lot more people trying to sell than people buying. But in a trade like that, it's equitable trade. I would say instead the issue with people using that is that you're not putting pressure on the merchants to adopt crypto. You're not giving them the signaling device that says this is the payment method I would prefer. I mean, Joelle, in your life, you have done a great thing by actually going to businesses and saying, hey, can I pay with crypto? And I've interviewed some of those businesses, and they've said, yeah, we only started accepting crypto because we realized that it's another payment option for people. We wanted to give people the more options, the better. And if we didn't say yes, maybe he'd go somewhere that did accept crypto. That sort of pressure, I think, is interesting. And if businesses are willing to take on their, extra burden of accepting crypto, they get the extra perk of getting more customers who potentially would have gone elsewhere. So I think that that's the main kind of closed-minded issue to do with like not doing it directly. When I'm just using a MasterCard intermediary, that business is just saying, oh great, she's cool with MasterCard, let's just keep things as they are. Whereas we can actually affect change by signaling that we want other payment methods, which I think is a good tool. I think that pressure can achieve a lot. And if we do want to see a complete financial revolution, it's always good to just ask anywhere you go, just, hey, do you accept crypto? And even if they don't, it just makes them think about it. The more people who ask, the more it gets in their mind and the more they'll consider it.
Yeah. Well, let's give a quick switch real quick to the Terra thing. So I don't know how up you are in Terra. I'm not that up, to be honest. But allegedly, they're doing a 10 billion Bitcoin allocation in order to help back their stablecoin. So I don't know if you've looked into this a little bit more closely than I have, but from my understanding, the way the stablecoin thing worked with Terra is burned in order to mint new stablecoins, and when those are burned, then you mint new Terra. It's like an interesting little burn mint peg situation. And adding Bitcoin reserves to that is a little bit of it's kind of interesting situation. But generally, what do you think of the concept of starting to add Bitcoin reserves for other, I guess, like a Bitcoin-backed stablecoin kind of idea? What do you think of that?
I think it's kind of interesting. We have so many USD-backed stable coins, and we have other fiat-denominated stable coins. And they are called stable coins because, relatively speaking, these fiat currencies are considered more stable than very volatile cryptocurrencies. The fact that now we're starting to see Bitcoin-backed stable coins used in like a similar sense is very interesting. I don't think we're going to end Bitcoin volatility anytime soon, but perhaps this marks the start of a shift. I mean, the more people who enter this market, I think the more stable it is going to get, the more liquidity there is, and also the more people use it day to day, to be honest, the more it starts to be pegged to real world goods. Then when I say pegged, I mean like associated in price, where you're not just thinking of things in terms of, oh, it's a $6 coffee. Well, you're thinking it in terms of it's a 0.10001 Bitcoin coffee or whatever. As soon as we change that paradigm, I do think that volatility will start to ease out. It won't just be speculators who are, pushing the prices up and down. There's going to be like an everyday use case, this kind of base transaction that will stabilize that price somewhat. Perhaps this is the beginning of that, or perhaps it's not. But it is interesting that they're using the term like stablecoin to apply to Bitcoin, which is cryptocurrencies are anything but stable. But then again, fiat is anything but stable as well. But just comparatively speaking, it's a little more. It's just interesting to see these experiments get played out.
Yeah, that's something that I had a little, obviously very polite back and forth with Eric Voorhees on Twitter the other day, because he believes the rise of algorithm.
You say you have a very polite back and forth with Eric Voorhees. The thing that immediately comes to my mind is that it wasn't very polite. The fact that you had to tell me this was very polite back and forth. I'm like, why is it that?
Well, anyone can look it up. It actually was this time. It's not false ad, not fake news. Right. It was just because I disagreed with what he said well, here's the thing. He says the thing he's most excited about in crypto right now are these algorithmic stablecoin type things like like Terra.
No, that's not algorithm.
Terra Luna.
Terra is interesting.
And of course the Thor chain, like Thor USD, which is the backbone of ThorFi. And I think that's pretty cool stuff, but I just can't think anything in crypto, and this is basically what I said, it is the most exciting thing in crypto if it's pegged to fiat. Like, the entire point of crypto was inflation resistant, censorship resistant money. And while I get here's the thing. So I'm staking, I just, to see how it works, I was staking some UST, some Terra Luna stablecoin, and they give you 19.5% APY, which is pretty nice. But then I realized half of that I'm losing to inflation every year by holding this piece of crap, So, stablecoins are going down by 10% a year almost at this rate. So I get that it's my long-term thing. I get that they're a very fun and very, very useful short-term tool for onboarding new people to the crypto world. But long term, I don't think we should have stable coins. Crypto should be the stable coin, right? Bitcoin would be a stable coin.
Here's where I'd push back on that, because you're thinking just in terms of day-to-day transactions, how you're living your life. But people who are running business and have to enter into long-term contracts, even if the US dollar is going down, losing 10% a year or whatever, it's going in one direction. So you can actually factor that in. By the way. And you can kind of extrapolate and predict, okay, what's inflation going to be over the next year? Maybe you'll be wrong, but you'll kind of be in the ballpark, and you'll for sure know that it's going to be losing value. So you at least know the general direction. The problem with crypto is that it's so volatile in each direction. You just can't enter into long-term contracts. So a lot of business agreements just aren't possible. Now, when you have stable coins that are centralized like Tether, they're completely freezable at the protocol level. So that's not decentralization. It may be in the crypto realm, but that's not decentralization. It's completely controllable money. So then it's well, how do you have crypto in the crypto realm that isn't just subject to the whims of supply and demand, where it could be pushed up or down, completely tank in value? You can't run a business and enter into long-term contracts that way. So I think that, algorithmic stablecoins are incredibly exciting, because we can leverage this tool that the governments are propping up and kind of keeping in the ballpark of a certain amount of value. We can take advantage of that, but create a completely decentralized system around it. So it doesn't matter if it's pegged. It's not reliant upon, a clearinghouse actually, swapping these coins for the fiat dollars. It's just using that as a yardstick to measure value, which is really I mean, I think it's an intermediary solution, which I think is what you're getting at. I don't think
Hmm.
it's a long-term solution. I don't know what fiat's going to happen, what's going to happen with fiat in the long term. But as a short-term solution, we do not have, stability in cryptocurrencies. So in order to run businesses and create long-term contracts, you need some sort of stable currency. But in order to have a decentralized one, you need these algorithmic stablecoins. So I think it's super exciting that people have figured out
Yeah.
how to do it just by adding in collateral, and it's they're really cool mechanisms. I'm pretty excited by it.
Yeah, definitely short term. I can't wait until the imagination, or rather the implementation of this extends beyond a purely fiat valuation. For example,
I agree.
just off of the top of my head, what if you had a stable coin that was based on the averaged out prices of gold, silver, Bitcoin, and the dollar? Just so yeah, then it's not like that's not a stable coin that in 10 years is going to be worth like a fraction. It's not going to go to Bolivar. Some of it will, but then it'll be balanced out by the rest. That'll be
Right.
actually stable. Let me
Yeah, I mean,
read a
I know this is going to be like sacrilege on your channel, but I was
oh
interested
no.
by what Facebook was putting out with the Libra. I really
Mm,
loved that idea of having a basket of currencies. I thought that they were treading in very experimental monetary territory, and I was really sad it got shut down. I mean, it wasn't something that I was going to keep my life savings in because I just don't trust Facebook, and it's not something I'm going to be using for everyday purchases because I don't like their tracking. But the concept of it really excited me, and I loved that they were kind of experimenting with this basket of asset things. So it's I wonder if we'll see someone else try to do like a similar typed indexed coin.
yeah. Well, let me just read off this super chat from anonymous. I can't remember exactly who it was, but because it's anonymous, please help Naomi set up her super chat to take crypto on her channel. It hurts me to see her still let censoring YouTube take 30%. Cointree could use some updating, for example, a timestamp for payment, etc. So, first off, yes, I will help you, but on that note, I'm going to do a little channel relaunch sort of in maybe a month, and start adding, overhauling things and incorporating NFTs and all the other cool stuff. But basically, I'm starting to figure out new ways of doing like live super chat stuff that isn't just like the wonky, because a coin tree was not set up as a super chat. So
Right.
try basically when I learn how to do that, I'll definitely onboard you with all the goodies. Now, one thing you
Sounds good.
should know, you can donate crypto to Naomi on, or me, for example. Well, but not yet. Actually, I don't have any bank stuff set up on Odysee because, but you you can use Dash Direct to use Dash to send fiat tips on Odysee,
Yeah, I
and
I
that
was I was confused by that because Joelle sent me a note saying, "Hey, I sent you Dash on Odysee," and I was like, "What?" And then I went in, and then I realized it's my second ever fiat donation. So I signed up with Odysee; you can get fiat
hmm
donations there, and I signed up to that. And I was like, "Wait, do they integrate crypto?" And then I realized you were using the Dash Direct Mastercard. You were using that to fund the purchase. So you sent Dash, and I received fiat in my account. So that was pretty exciting there.
yes, and they take what, 5%? What does Odyssey
No, they
take?
don't take anything, I don't think.
One of their things they took a percentage, but I can't remember. It's much smaller than
I think
YouTube, that's for sure.
100% of, or it's like 1% or something. It's like, it's very,
One
very small
percent.
if they do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I do want to be respectful of your time. You do have to kind of take off now, don't you?
I do. But thank
Okay.
you for inviting me on. And let's see what happens with the world of converting them all to onboarding and getting involved with crypto. I agree with you. I want to see long term, I want to see everyone involved. So I like these interim solutions, but we'll see what happens long term.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, for everyone, make sure to go follow Naomi at Naomi Brockwell on Twitter. She's hashtag verified now, so she's a little big league.
Hashtag
Pretty
verified.
soon she's going to post all sorts of woke nonsense because she's a blue check now.
That's
Just kidding.
true. Absolutely. I'm going to be like, oh, I love the government and I need them to tell me what to do.
Yes. January 6th was literally worse than Pearl Harbor. Stuff like that. You'll be
January
saying,
6th was literally the apocalypse. All right. Before I get
yes.
canceled, I've got to leave this chat.
Yes, absolutely. So follow her on Twitter. Follow her YouTube channel and other stuff. And if you're still on this one for whatever reason, like, comment, share, subscribe. The Dash podcast is coming up next in about 20 minutes. So yeah, stay tuned for that. That's going to be a good one. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Happy Friday, happy weekend, and mwah.
Happy Friday.